In recent times, Marine Drive on a Sunday morning plays host to a whole bunch of street performers, from magicians to dancers to acrobats. They in turn attract this massive crowd there to be entertained. I knew if I sat on the road with the street performers, I myself would end up attracting somewhat of a crowd. So I spent the morning hunting for a good sketching spot. I repeatedly started sketches at different spots and subsequently gave up on them. Overall, it was a very fruitless and disappointing morning. Which brings us to today's sketch. I am using a reference image that I shot that particular morning. When I was at the location, I was just overwhelmed by all the things which were happening. But on coming back home, I managed to recompose the composition, recompose the frame, and also recompose my thoughts. So here I am giving it another go. I have started my painting process in the same way that I do often, wetting down parts of the paper and beginning with the blue sky. Then I move to the color of the light. In this first wash, I use very dilute color and try to cover the entire page. Now, before I go too far into the process, I want to talk about two factors that underpin this composition. The first is with respect to the scale of the figures and keeping them in perspective. So, this right here is my eye line. As long as I keep the heads of all my figures aligned with this line, they will appear to be in perspective. The second point is with respect to how to make the human figures appear believable. If I make this chap, the one closest to me, appear like a person, all the small blobs of paint further down the line will automatically begin to appear like people. After watching this video, if you find it enjoyable or useful, please do consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. I have uploaded about 30 videos by now. I have a lot of exciting plans in the coming days and months and would love to have you along with me on this journey. When painting in those tetrapods on the right, I am directly going to use mid-tone value. I can do this because the color for the water that I laid down initially is already dry. As I apply my brush strokes, I am trying to purposefully leave a few white patches just to indicate a odd tetrapod catching a highlight. I was hoping some of the color from those bright shirts would flow beyond the lines, but the initial beige wash wasn't moist enough at this point. I'll now move on to my second application of paint. I'll still be working with fairly large shapes. I'll start by putting in a cast shadow onto those tetrapods. Hopefully the paint there is still a little bit moist. I will also be applying some darker values wet in wet, so I get some soft deep shadows. I'm turning my attention to the top part of the page now. I'm going to consider the form shadow of those buildings and the row of trees along the street as one large connected shape. I want the trees in the distance to be cooler, duller in color, and the trees closer to me to be brighter and warmer in color. As with the tetrapods, I am adding some darker value now, wet in wet, to get some soft dark shadows. On that nearest tree, I want some harder shadows as well, so I'm not going to put in that many soft ones. Trying to paint in each and every window of buildings is a futile activity. What is best practice is just to indicate a few of them in a random pattern. When I put in those cast shadows of the people, you will get a better sense of the horizontal planes in the sketch. We are still in the ugly stage for this sketch. We won't truly know whether it's working or not till we start putting in those pen lines and smaller details. For my lines, I am using a Sailor Fude pen with waterproof black carbon ink. Although I don't claim to be a continuous line type sketcher, in this instance I am trying to keep my pen nib on the paper for as long a line as I possibly can. In the top right corner of this video, you will find a link where I talk about all the materials I usually use for my sketches. Besides that, the materials for this particular sketch are listed down in the description. Now adding some thicker lines where I think I need them. For me, this is the most interesting part. I'll now gradually add small blobs of color to indicate the people in the distance. When I started this phase, I was rather nervous, not very sure whether what I was doing was making sense. But as I added more of those dots and heads, slowly but surely the scene started to come to life. There's not much more left for me to describe. I am simply using my small number 4 brush and adding in further details as and where I think they need to be. If you've enjoyed my process so far and would like access to longer, full-length watercolor tutorials, do check out my classes over on Skillshare. There is a link in the description that will give you access to one of my classes free of charge. I'm now using a white glass cutter's pencil to get back some of the highlights. I find the marks that this pencil makes to be very enjoyable. And I think we are done. Thank you for joining me here today in this demonstration. Please do remember to do all the YouTube things like subscribe, click the notification bell. I will see you in the next one.